DCSync Attack and ZeroLogon Attack are two important attacks against Active Directory. In this video, we're going to discuss how exactly these two attacks work, what do they do behind the scenes, and we're going to implement them in our lab one by one.
So let's just dive into it.
In order to understand DCSync Attack and ZeroLogon Attack, we have to first understand the core concepts behind of these two attacks. So we need to understand the Directory Replication Service and also what exactly DC account is. So let's just dive into our example. Here in our scenario, we have a DC on the left side called DC1. This DC, just like any ordinary DC, has a file called ntds.dit, which is Active Directory Database. This file or this database includes all of the users, groups, and also all of the NTLM hashes of users. So in our scenario, because of the high number of clients and because of the high load, we wanted to add another DC to our domain for the purpose of load balancing, which is on right side. You can see it's just called DC2. So in order to perform and in order to do the responsibilities that belongs to DC2, DC2 also needs the information that DC1 right now has. So for example, imagine that DC1 is not responding due to high load and the users are contacting DC2 in order to log into domain in order to authenticate themselves so that they can use the services in a network. So in order to perform this authentication process, for example, DC2 needs the list which is called ntds.dit, this database that has all of the NTLM hashes of the users, so that it can authenticate the users and it can just do its job. So it's not the only thing that it needs. Also, ntds.dit is just a part of the information that DC2 requires. It also needs registry secrets like LSA secrets and so more. In order to get this information from DC1, there is a service which is called Directory Replication Service that this DC2 is going to use in order to ask DC1 that, hey, can you please give me your ntds.dit? So I want this information in order to be the second DC in this domain. Here there are some few accounts that they have replication privilege. By replication privilege, I mean that there are only few accounts that they can request the services of Directory Replication Service. So these accounts are DC account, domain and enterprise accounts, and also they can be backup operators. But by default, DC account and domain and enterprise admins, they have this replication privilege, which means that they can ask Directory Replication Service in order to just give the information that exists in DC1 to DC2. Just as we can just imagine, if it was like this, that whenever something was updated in the NTLM hashes of ntds.dit, whenever such thing was updated, the DC2 needed to, in order to update its also active its database. So it would be so inconvenient if the main admin had to log into DC2 and use the Directory Replication Service in order to get the information. It would be so inconvenient. For example, in a week, imagine that 6 people, their password is going to be changed. So 6 times the admin has to just ask this service to come and help. So it would be so inconvenient. Because of this, we have the solution, and that is DC account. DC account is a machine account, which is a built-in account that it's just gets created automatically in DC2 when we create this DC. So it gets its NTLM hash or its password automatically, and that has Directory Replication Service privileges, which means that this DC account can send its NTLM hash to the DC1, and it can ask DC in order to first authenticate this DC account, and second of all, give the information and update the information in DC2. So that is what exactly Directory Replication Service is and what exactly DC account is. But let's just move on and understand what exactly DCSync Attack is. So here in our picture, as you can see, and I have already told you, DC account and domain and enterprise admins have replication privilege. So if we get access to these accounts, one of these two accounts, DC account or maybe domain admin as an domain admin or enterprise admin, we have the privilege in order to ask DC1 in order to give us its information. By information I mean it's ntds.dit, the NTLM hash of all of the users, and that's fantastic. And that is what exactly we're going to do with our Mimikatz. So let's just quickly go to our lab and perform this attack, and then we're going to come again and work on ZeroLogon. In my lab, I have a DC and I've already installed the Mimikatz on this DC. So let's just run Mimikatz. And the first thing that we have to do, we have to set privilege to debug. And then in order to implement DCSync Attack, we need to type lsa dump DCSync. And we need to give the domain name here, which is in my scenario penetration lab.local. And also we can just give the username that we want its NTLM hash. For example, I can just mention KRBTGT account, which is a built-in account, and we can get the NTLM hash of only this user, but I want to just get the NTLM hash of all of the users, so I'm going to mention dash all. We can also mention dash CSV in order to get a better output, so it's just well organized here, the output. Here we have successfully gained access to all of the NTLM hashes of all of the accounts in this domain. You can see we have KRBTGT account, which can be used its NTLM hash in order to implement golden ticket attack. We have also gotten access to SQL service NTLM hash. We can also gotten access to NTLM hash of this machine account Microsoft, to this machine account Apple, and also to this machine account, which we have already discussed about it, DC account, which has high privileges and it can access to everywhere, to NTDS, to registry, and everywhere. So, and we have also these two users, Bill Gates and its NTLM hash, and Steve Jobs, its NTLM hash. Fantastic! We have successfully gained access to Active Directory database and NTLM hash of all of the users. So that was DCSync Attack. So let's just dive into ZeroLogon. ZeroLogon Attack focused on a specific account which is called DC account. We have already discussed that DC account has high privilege and it can get access to ntds.dit and registry secrets like LSA. So if we can compromise this account, we have access to everything in the domain. And ZeroLogon actually compromises this DC account with changing the NTLM hash of this DC account to null. So before, the NTLM hash of DC account was stored in ntds.dits, and after implementing this attack, the NTLM hash of this DC account in ntds.dits is going to be null, which means that there is no password for this DC account. And since it does not have any password, we can simply get access to this DC account and we can simply read GPOs, group policies, modify them. We can just get access to NTDS, we can get access to registry secrets, and more. But it is important to have it in mind that ZeroLogon Attack is a dangerous attack against Active Directory, so it can make trouble for real organizations. So as a penetration tester, we're going to only check whether the DCs are vulnerable to this attack. So for checking that, we're going to use ZeroLogon Checker. I have already got the script of this ZeroLogon Checker from this link from GitHub, and I'll also add this link under this video. As you can see, there is ZeroLogon tester.py here. You can just simply get it, and it has also explained how we can use it. We have to just run this script and we have to mention the NetBIOS name of DC and its IP address. So let's just do it here. I have already got this script, so I'm going to only open my terminal here, and so here we are going to run Python 3 and ZeroLogon Checker. And here in this scenario, the NetBIOS name of my DC is DC, and we need to mention the IP address, which in this scenario is 116. So let's just hit enter and see whether my DC is vulnerable to this attack. It will check it and it will tell us if it is vulnerable or not. So let's just wait a little bit. And here we are. So it says attack failed. The target is probably patched. So in my scenario, my DC is not vulnerable to this attack. So that was this. I hope that you have enjoyed the video. If you have, don't forget to subscribe our channel and stay tuned.